Hey there, Facebook. It is Vanessa here again, your motivational speaker, trainer, and head coach from Live, Love, Give. And today I have a message that I've just felt called to deliver to you guys. It's nothing new. We've heard it before, but ultimately it's really that judgment only serves to separate, and it's curiosity that ultimately liberates us. And I wanted to have this discussion with you guys because it's kind of the right time to have it, I feel, because most of us, we've just had Christmas, we're still kind of hanging out with family, we're on holidays, we're on this break, and it's really easy to slip into the pattern of judgment and the stories that we create about other people, and then all that does is serve to separate us. And it actually, whenever we judge another person, it not only disconnects us and our potentiality of creating something better and deeper with another person, but it also imprisons us, because ultimately at the end of the day, I really do believe that every single one of us, we really are here to connect. We're here to love and, love fully and allow ourselves to be loved fully. And whenever we do anything against that, judgment is like a great way to cut that off. It also imprisons us and it takes us away from what we really truly want. And so I really wanted to dive into this with the hope that you guys will think about who in your life right now may you be kind of just falling into this pattern of judgment. Maybe somebody else who you trust has said something about this person and it's gotten you to this point of creating this story about, who they are and why they do what they do. And in actual fact, if you're honest with yourself, you actually have no idea. And you haven't got curious. You haven't sought out, the truth within that person, and you stay stuck in this judgment of them. And I really do believe that we cannot know the story and experience of another person. No matter how close they are to us, no matter how much we think we know them better than they know themselves, we don't. And we're not inside of them. We can't actually know. So, and I'm a really big believer of, don't assume anything about another person. If you have a perception of what's going on and you actually have an intention of having good quality relationships in your life, then get curious and ask questions rather than assuming. And the real purpose behind all of this is to create good quality relationships. And so many of us get so caught up on behavior. That's the thing that we see. That's the thing that we're looking at. It's the easiest thing to go to. We see the behavior and instantly we want to filter that through our brains and make sense of it. And the thing is, we make sense of it. We make sense of the behavior as to the reasons why we would perform in that same behavior. And we don't actually see what's going on for the other person. And this is why I love the book, A Course in Miracles. If you haven't come across it or sort of checked it out before, I really encourage you to do so, A Course in Miracles. And ultimately, one of the main lessons that I really took away from that book was that everything another person says, does, puts out there is ultimately either a call for love or an expression of love. And that has so much truth. And this is, I hope that you take on board this lesson, which is, if everything is either a call for love or an expression of love, then what is going on for this person? Their behavior, I believe nobody wants to, behave poorly. We oftentimes just behave in such ways that we're feeling on the inside. I believe we're all kind of open books to that degree. And when somebody is behaving poorly, they're aware that they're behaving poorly. We're aware when we get angry and we say the thing that we didn't mean to say or didn't really want to say, but we were just so caught up in emotion that we didn't know what else to do and we just threw it out there and projected it out there. We all behave badly at times. That's part of being a human being. And if you meet that person's poor behavior with more fear, because ultimately if it's a call for love, it's coming from fear. That person is scared. That's why they're trying to protect themselves. They're trying to, just stay strong, but ultimately a really loving, healthy, centered person they're not going to get caught up in that. And they, so you can see that when somebody does get caught up in that poor behavior, then you can look at it and you can either do what most people do and hit them back. Oh, you're wrong. You shouldn't behave like that. You shouldn't be doing that. And judgment. Or you can get curious for a second and recognize if everything in life if every piece of behavior is either a call for love or an expression of love, what is this person throwing at me right now? Is it an expression of love? I don't think so, So is it a call for love? Obviously, because whenever somebody is not loving not behaving in a loving way, they are coming from fear. It is a way of viewing it in a really simplistic, but it's profound. If we know that and we recognize that everything is either loving or it's coming from fear, and we know that the only way through defeating somebody's fear and nullifying that is through giving them what they really need, which is love, because they're in fear, because we all have a deep-seated fear that every other fear comes from, which is ultimately that we're not good enough in some way. And if we're not good enough in some way, then we won't be loved. So it's all to do with love. So if you really want to break through to somebody in your life who is trapped in, negative patterns of behavior, negative states of being, and you want to have some sort of influence, you can't control the outcome, but if you want to positively give them an opportunity and positively influence them, then you need to recognize that when they're coming from fear, the only antidote to fear is your love. So I'm not saying that you should condone poor behavior. I want to make that clear, because I think that, part of self-love is knowing how we want to be treated and expecting that from the people closest to us. But what I am saying is that we can see through behavior and we can trust intent. If we can do that, then we can see that this person in front of us is in a lot of fear. They're scared. They're not good enough. They're scared they won't be loved. So instead of condemning them and reinforcing their deepest fears that they're not loved by throwing your fear at them, instead of doing that, then you can actually have the emotional intelligence to say, hey, I don't like how you're treating me right now. I know your intention isn't to hurt me. I'm here for you. I want to know what's going on in your world. How can I support you? What are you scared about? What are you afraid of? If you can actually come from a genuine place that's coming from love instead of fear, like, hey, you shouldn't be treating me like that, and you're doing all this stuff wrong, which only serves to, like I said, reinforce their deepest fear that they're not loved, then ultimately, if you can break through, then you are going to create extraordinary quality of relationships in your life. And you might be the first person that person ever has had that experience with. So it's a beautiful gift that you can have to give, which is knowing and trusting, having a great relationship with yourself is the foundational piece to having the emotional intelligence to see through another person's behavior and trust intent. And always, if you're having trouble with that, find where in your life down the timeline you've behaved in a very similar way. You've said things that way. You've done things that way. If you can find it within yourself, then ultimately you can have more understanding and compassion for another person and therefore really serve them rather than just add to and magnify the fear that's going on already. So absolutely hoping that this message today is resonating with you guys. I definitely want to check in and see who's been able to join me. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, please drop them below. I'd love to engage with you. And definitely, like I say every single day, whenever I do one of these messages, if you haven't already, make sure that you come on over and join us in the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community. Over 3,000 beautiful, extraordinary human beings who want to get to that next level of their potential. They're doing it and they want to support, encourage, and challenge you to do the same. So it's all, that group is all about growth and contribution. That's what we're doing. We're growing ourselves and we're contributing to others. So that is what it's about. If that resonates with you, please click on the link above, a request to join. I'll approve you, and you can come and go deeper with us in that community. And let me just check in with you guys now. So I've got Sam. I love that you keep showing up every day. I love seeing you here. And Kellerman and Lucy's here. Awesome. And Kelly and Mohammed and Stephen and Jamal and Jared's here. And Alexandria. I love it. And Jessica. And I absolutely... Oops. And Jodie's here again, and Jennifer. I absolutely love you guys. Keep showing up every day. You guys absolutely touch my heart and rock my world for that. So thank you. And Matthew, I hope you had a wonderful Christmas too. And Jackie's here, and Mitke, and Mully, and Niam. And Alexandra, writing a poem today. Will take a break only for you. I love it, Alexandria. And I'm so proud of you for stepping into your beautiful gift. It's such a gift that you have to give to the world. So you are so appreciated. I love that you're taking a quick break for me. And Leanne's here, and Jody. Hi, Vanessa. Have a friend who's always judges, gets annoying, and so true. Have a Happy New Year. Thank you so much, and same to you, Jody. And absolutely. And, you know, sometimes what we need to do in those relationships, when I worked in the corporate environment, wow, like, I don't know what it is, when you're in the workplace, it just gets really gossipy, right? Any sort of community or institution, there's going to be that kind of gossip that goes on, and it gets really judgy. And I got to a point in my life where I noticed that my friends were so judgmental and so gossipy about the person who just left the room. You know what I mean? Like, they'd gossip about our friends. And all that did for me was kind of really shut me down. So I never really shared any of the truth of who I was with those people, because I didn't trust them. I didn't trust that they weren't going to talk about me and share all my deepest, darkest secrets and whatnot. And so I think that we in our lives, we can get kind of judgmental about other people being judgmental, and that's something to watch. It's something that's happened to me. It's happened to me a couple of times. I'm probably doing it right now. And I think what it is I don't want to go too deep into it right now, but sometimes there are ways that we as human beings, we get judgmental of others and there's kind of like these unwritten social contracts that we're trying to enforce. We're trying to build and establish connection and trust with the people that we're gossiping with. And sometimes though, if you want to be an emotionally intelligent person, I think that we kind of need to get beyond that and speak our truth from a non-judgmental place. I don't think it feels good to judge people in that way. And ultimately, we can't establish real trust in our connections when we're judging and criticizing people around us. So, Jody, what I would say to you is to be the leader in those friendship groups. When it gets judgy, like, just change the subject, or don't get judgy back. Like, just shift gears, and focus on some positives. See if you can challenge the situation by bringing some positives, complimenting somebody, bringing that opposite side, that light to the conversation. And, at the end of the day, you might want to just incorporate some other people in your life as well who don't get caught up in that, but also recognize what's going on behind. Sometimes that gossip and judgment is, sometimes it's this unwritten social contract of trying to establish trust. Like, hey, I'm judging this about this person because I'm trying to tell you I would never do that. So we can have trust and we can have connection. So just different angles of looking at the perspectives in terms of why somebody is operating that way. And if it doesn't serve you, change the subject, be the leader instead of following suit in that judgy kind of energy. And I so appreciate you being here, Jody, and for your comments here. And Letty and Jody and Cinda and Letty from South Africa. I love that. And Brit's here. Awesome to see you. And Cinda from Netherlands, Holland. Awesome. And Luke's here, and Madeline, I'm grateful that you're finding value in today's message. and Herman and Gianni and Alexandria, the fear of loss and the unknown. Yeah, absolutely. That can be coming up for the person who's behaving poorly. So we've got to get beyond the behavior, see through the behavior. Don't allow behavior. Always question that behavior, but see through it and trust intent and actually be able to give somebody what they really need, which is more love. That's always going to be the antidote to fear. So absolutely, and I'm loving that you're finding this true, Gail. And Taya's here, and Emmanuel. It is very hot here. Yes, it is. It's cooled down a lot over where I am. But yes, Madeline, loving that this is true for you. And thanks for your compliment there, Andy and Sam. Amazing. A cry for love is fear. Yeah, absolutely. So I really hope that you guys take that piece out of today's message, which is filter every person's behavior in your life. It's either a call for love, meaning it's coming from fear and it needs your love, or an expression of love. So receive that. And I think that allows us to build so much more awareness, understanding, compassion, and ability to actually help and serve the people closest to us. And Kenny's here, and Gail, you're so welcome. And Letty, true Vanessa, fear for not loved. Yep, it's coming since their childhood, maybe. Yes, absolutely. So, you know, we've all got different experiences, whether they came from our childhood or along the path or yesterday, whenever, you know, that kind of like can get us tapped into that deeper fear of not being loved. Or not being good enough, which ultimately means we're not going to be loved. That's the fear that drives all of our fears of rejection, failure, success, all of it, whatever it is, it's all stemming from that place. So absolutely, Letty, loving that resonated. And Jelma and Madeline, and HA. Oh, thank you so much for your beautiful compliment there, Madeline. That's very kind of you. And Claude, Merry Christmas from Texas. I love it. I really want to get back to Texas. And Anshel and Paul and Ali and Jolene and Lisa. We project too much, I believe. Yeah, you know, when we don't have an outlet that we've established for ourselves to really, you know, feel through our own sort of core feelings, you know, instead of just throwing it all out there because we don't have the emotional intelligence at that point to be able to handle it anyway. And ultimately emotion is energy, you know, it has to be exerted in some form, but we can do that in emotionally intelligent ways or less than emotionally intelligent ways. And definitely, so when we do project, you know, that, you know, we need to, if we're witnessing somebody projecting, then we need to be able to help and support that person to a higher level of their emotional intelligence by reassuring them that they are loved and supporting them as they need it. So I love that. Thanks for sharing here, Lisa. And Rocky and Elves here. And Ryan, thanks for being here. And Rocky's from Perth. I love it. And Stephen, any New Year's resolutions? I'm sure we will all have a bunch of New Year's resolutions. Like I told you guys a couple of days, I'm focusing between now and New Year's. I'm going to focus on 3 different visions, one on my health, one on relationships, and one on my business. And I'm going to have a bunch of resolutions, I guess, from that. I never really do New Year's resolutions. I'm constantly setting goals for myself and deciding, you know, where I want to get to, what does my higher self want to move toward. And so New Year's resolutions kind of leave a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth personally. I think they work for a lot of people, but my experience has been, why do we wait until New Year's to finally do something good for ourselves that we fall off the bandwagon within a month? You know, I don't know. I think every single day we should be checking in with ourselves and we should be asking ourselves, what would my higher self do today? Where am I going? Have vision, you know, and be growing and contributing every single day. So, but yeah, for all you guys out there who New Year's resolutions are really helpful for, then I'd love to hear from you guys and answer Stephen's question. What are your New Year's resolutions? And on that note, you know, with the Limitless Potential Inner Circle Facebook community, that's such a good platform for you guys if you want some extra accountability. If you set New Year's resolutions or any goals in your life or any states of being that you want to shift more into, if you let us know in that group, we can help and support you and keep you accountable to your word there as well. And Rim's here, and Julie, and Josie, and Jason, awesome, and Gail. After watching your video, I feel very good because I always learn something new. Oh, I'm so grateful to hear that, Gail. Thank you so much. You've touched my heart, because that's why I show up every day, in the hope that I can in some way add some sort of value to you guys. So that's so kind of you to say. Thank you so much, Gail. And Peter's here, and Marka, thank you so much for your kind words there. So guys, really that is my message for you. I hope that you are going to recognize that judgment only serves to separate. And we're here, the name of the game is to build connection. And when we can get curious, we liberate. We liberate ourselves from holding on to all these feelings of resentment and judgment. And it doesn't feel good. You know, it feels good to feel loving. It feels good to see the good in others. It feels good to be of service and real value to another person by seeing through their behavior and giving them what they really need. You know, it doesn't feel good when we get judgmental. Just, it never does, not long term, you know. So I really hope that message has resonated for each and every one of you guys. And welcome, Rondi. Hope you guys who are just joining me catch the recording and get a ton of value from today's message. I am absolutely, as always, sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's brilliant. And I'm still here in beautiful Warrnambool. It was super hot here yesterday. It's cooled down, and I've got my beautiful granny coming for a few days, so I can't wait to spend some time with her. And just before I sign off, I'll say hi to Mike and Luke. Thank you, and awesome guys. Healing message, thank you, and thank you so much, Sam, and sending you much love your way as always. Sorry, I was going to say Moises. Hello, Moises. And hope you catch the recording, Moises. Get a ton of value from today's message. I'm going to sign off. I will see you all tomorrow. Much love.